Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, alias Podcast Pete, founder of Podcast Academy and a community of podcasters that want to make an impact, want to be bold, and want to have fun. So today, I want to bring to you a book because we're turning the corner of probably the most craziest 4 years we've ever seen. Now it's your turn to get locked and loaded and ready to grow by the mindset of 10x. Now, Daniel Priestley, who wrote this book, The Entrepreneurial Revolution, it's underway. It's not like it just started. It's been underway, but now with AI kicking in, positive adults running the country, we have the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. All these things are coming together. Digital revolution happening now. So you have all these trends coming together. And if you know and are aware of them, you're going to be able to take advantage of the opportunity. So I'm going to give you a gift at the end, but I'm going to cover some things in this book because I have the book, This is Strategy by Seth Godin. And he talks about when people are talking about your business, your book, your story, then it starts to go viral. So I'm going to talk about one in particular, Daniel Priestley. Search him online. Get all 4 of his books. And I want you to think of it this way in 2025. Instead of reading 50 books, one a week, which I used to do, so you just covered the surface, I want you to go deep in a handful of books. Now, I'm going to put on the screen before it, just as we get started, the ones I'm doubling down on, the individuals I am really focusing on. And Daniel Priestley is one of them. Brendan Bouchard is one of them. So you're going to see a lot. These are world-class teachers, world class. And if you're going to be the best in what you are doing, you've got to be mentored by the best. Are there lots out there? Yes. This could be some that you know, some that you don't know. I actually lost track of Brendan for about 10 years. I heard him speak 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and I was blown away then. And for some reason, whether I was busy doing other things or just didn't follow up with his teaching, it wasn't until he was on the Ed Milet Show podcast and he mentioned a thing called Growth Day. That started a really focused journey of personal development, self-awareness, growth. And now, having done 350 podcasts, having learned so much, having survived a stroke, having survived all kinds of trauma, and that's for a different day, different podcast. But my friend Christian, who was on my podcast about 4 months ago, he mentioned his story and he mentioned assessments. And I had been hearing about it on some podcasts, but it wasn't until I took one that I realized what it really did, what it meant. It was kind of like he talks about 7-11-4. People have to consume 7 hours of you. They have to make 11 buying signals, and they have to see you on 4 different platforms. When that happens, the brain just shifts. And it's like, oh, I know and I like, and I want to do business with this person. So that has to happen. The know, like, and trust has to happen digitally. So if you're just putting a few things out there and you're only on, say, LinkedIn and maybe YouTube, that's not enough. A book, which this one is a classic. He's got Revolution, Entrepreneurial Revolution, Overprescribed, 24 Assets, and the other book is Score Marketing. This is a guy who's built 8 businesses, scaled them. So you got to check people out. Just because one person tells you, hey, read this book, you got to have your own personal development plan. That's compliments of Brendan Bouchard, or that's coming from his. I'm a member of Growth Day. Every single day for the last 10 months. Haven't missed one. Haven't missed one. That's, I don't know how many days that. Let's see, 10 months, 30. That's 300 straight days. I found it. I subscribed to it. Then I started upgrading. I went for the more of his content. Then I went and got a certified high performance coach. Then I loved that experience. Then I got certified as a high performance coach. Then during the coaching, which was phenomenal, I met a guy and I asked to switch to this person who has his PhD, Mark Matthews, thank you so much, has his PhD in human behavior. So I was blown away by, I was in his, what do you call those? Oh gosh, role playing sessions. And I went, man, I want this guy. And they let me switch because I'd already paid for the next session. But I realized that maybe this would be a different perspective. And it was. He challenged me, he pushed me, he coached me. It was phenomenal. I finished 2 sessions with him. So I tell you that to tell you that personal development is a journey. I've been doing this for 50 years. I started out, I was just thinking over the holidays, I started out with Paul J. Meyer, Success Motivation Institute, back 1990, I think. 1990, Waco, Texas. I mean, 1990. So that's 10 plus 25. That's 35 years ago. I invested in Success Motivation Institute. Then, I don't know how many years after that, I invested in TPN. My girls will remember that. The People's Network. Jeff Olson and Eric Worre. They were bringing personal development like Brian Tracy into your living room. I geeked out on that. My kids, my girls thought I was weird. And I am. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. But when you fail, like I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADD, it's a weird combination. But I never got an A in my entire life. I can't remember. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I was always in remedial reading. I was always fearful of how people would judge me because I couldn't spell. If you gave me a sentence, I misspelled 2 or 3 of the words. And when you're communicating through email and you can't spell, and people would say, well, just look it up in the dictionary. Okay, that's great. What if you can't spell the first letter? How do you find it in the dictionary? So anyway, so I'm stuck. I'm fearful my whole life. And that's a whole different story. But what Christian shared with me when he shared the assessment, we got on another call a month later, and he shared something with me I had never heard in my life called PTSG, not PTSD, post-traumatic stress growth. Man, I mean, when I heard that, I about fell out of my chair because we have a choice in life when we go through trauma, when we hit rock bottom, when the world doesn't look too bright. We can either figure out how to grow from it, or we can let that fear own us. Your choice. If you know Oprah's story, sexually abused as a child, she took it to grow. Look at where it has taken her. A billionaire. Everybody knows her name because she took trauma and she grew from it. And so for you, no matter where you are in business, now, whether you have failed every single thing, I was listening to another guy, and he's married to Sarah Blakely. Jim, I never heard of him until about a month ago, but um, he talked about all his failures. Everybody talks about their successes. They don't tell you that entrepreneurship is tough. Being in your own business is tough. You'll never do anything harder in your life. No guaranteed income. If you don't do it, it throws you out on the street. And a lot of people don't realize how hard it is. And they get in one time. There was a couple, wonderful, beautiful couple. And they went to a local association. They sponsored a morning. It was the first time I came back from my stroke. And I was just trying to get out and, get out and meet people. I was just like, I could walk again. I could get around, enough to do it. And I walk and I go into this person, and man, they're opening up this coffee shop. Exciting. Well, 9 months later, they're out of business. So entrepreneurship will do that to you. Maybe somebody said, hey, it'd be nice to open up a coffee shop. Did we do the research? Right around the corner, you got a bunch of Starbucks. Maybe it's not in a good location because you can't see it. So we say, oh, I don't want to work for the big guy. What do they call it? I want to work for the big guy. I want to be my own boss. Well, you're going to work for the toughest boss you've ever worked for, which is yourself, and the craziest one, because the hours are crazy, the demands, and you have to learn every single day. You got to walk out of trauma with lessons. So for me personally, I mean, I had a stroke 3 years ago. I was an avid golfer. I ran a lot. That was my, what do you call it? My meditation time. I haven't done either. I mean, but I did a little bit one-handed. I can play a little bit, but I used to play 5 days a week. I'd get up, work my butt off, then I'd go out on the golf course at the evening. It was just like, it was my sanctuary. Running, my sanctuary. Both of them gone. And that's kind of what life can do to you. Now I have to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to eat. I had to learn how to go to the bathroom. I had to learn how to do everything over again. Still battling. I've gone through 7 PTs. It's been a crazy journey. But my point is, when I was at Shepherd and this neuro doctor, after about a week or two there, maybe it was probably a week, they set up an appointment with the neuro because they want to check in, because all of a sudden you're normal and you're not. You're paralyzed, can't move, can't eat, can't do anything, can't speak. And that's a little bit of a trauma. But when I wheeled into her office, I'll never forget it, because she said, we start the session. She says, how are you doing? Which is probably a good thing to ask. I mean, oh, I'm doing great. Just lost half my body. No, but I said to her, I'm doing great. No, and then she paused and she leaned into me and she goes, no, how are you doing really? Like, how somebody will say, hello, and you go, how you doing? They'll go, doing great. And the world's crashing, everything's going wrong. But you say that because it's a reflex. You say it just to say it. Kind of like when somebody says, hey, let's get together for lunch sometime. And you go, okay, let me get my calendar out. Oh, I don't have mine yet. I'll call you back. And they never do. But it's those kind of things that we put ourselves on autopilot. So anyway, I said to her, life is perspective. If you knew my story, you would know this isn't that big of a deal. Now, 3 years later, I'm still walking sideways and trying to get everything I can now. This was never possible. The last 6 months, I've gone to PT Solutions in Ackworth. Kara Martin is unbelievable. She is absolutely, in the last, I think, 5 months, kicked my butt and gotten me. I thought I had gotten as good as I was going to get. 6 months of walking after dinner, I was just. But a friend of mine, Crystal Duke, who's a health and fitness um, coach, I called her and I said, "Hey, I'm just not really getting any results. I feel like I've plateaued." She calls a friend of hers who's a neuro, and she says, instead of walking, work on your core exercise. She showed me how to do it. Then she said, go back to a PT, go back to a trained neuro PT. So I did. My friend Terry Eckhart had been telling me about Kara for 2 years. I thought because his daughter worked for PT Solutions, I thought he was biased. So he would tell me, I go, yeah, Terry, yeah, I know. Your daughter is a marketing person. You're just promoting your daughter. I would do the same thing. So I didn't take his advice. Then I said, what the heck? Let me try. So I called Terry up and I said, hey, tell me more about Kara. He did. And I booked the appointment. And oh my gosh. I said, what's the one thing I could do to get improvement? And she said one thing, intensity. I said, really? Intensity? Nobody's ever told me that. So she kicks my butt. I walk out of there during the summer sweating. The other times I am worn out because she pushes me. And that's kind of the reason I share that. I get emotional. Hold on here. And the reason I share that is in business, you got to be pushed. You got to challenge yourself. You got to work your butt off. You can't just take off 5 o'clock on Friday. You got to do whatever it takes. And you got to work. And you need a coach who's going to push you, challenge you, really just get the best out of you, because we will disappoint ourselves, but we don't always have the ability to push ourselves. So we have to have a mindset, a high performance mindset, have to set goals. And Brendan Bouchard just gave his 5 S's today, actually yesterday, but he recapped it. 5 S's, and we'll do that another day. So you have to have those goals. You can't just, hey, I'm going to do this sometime. That doesn't work. You got to have deadlines, and there's a whole framework for it. The best out there. Why I'm up there, let me give you an offer here, because, man, the first of the year, try it for 7 days. Go to petekane.me/growth day. Try it for 7 days. Then if you like it, which I know you will, then you're investing $49 in yourself, which would be the best investment you'll ever make in your career. Okay. Enough of the commercial. Okay. So set goals and then create habits. So mindset, have a high performance mindset. Always be working on your mind. Have goals, written goals, deadlines. You gotta know them. If somebody woke you up at 2:00 in the morning and said, what's your five goals and what's your next 5 moves? You got to repeat them right there. Come out of a deep sleep. If you can't do it, you don't know them well. But if you do, then your chances of being successful go way up. So let me give you, and then habits, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Then there's some other books on habits, but that's probably the best because you stack habits. Let me give you one little example or my testimony. When I was at Overture, 2 things happened. So I'm walking down the hall, kind of sideways, I had a brace on at the time. And the guy who was a PT, had just moved in not too long ago. And so we had a conversation. And he said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I told him. And he said, "Hey, question. Do you take the elevator or the stairs?" I said, "Oh, I take the elevator." He goes, "Try the stairs." I said, "Well, it's 4 flights down, 4 flights up." He goes, "Just try the stairs. Hold on, be safe, do the stairs." And I think when you think about that, we are so convenienced. I never even thought about it. Never crossed my mind. I'm thinking, oh man, I got an elevator here. I'm just going to push a button, go down the elevator. So that day, I did the stairs. And that day, I went back up the stairs. So for basically, I think 10, 11 months, something, I never took the elevator unless I had groceries in my hand. I couldn't do the stairs. Up and down, 4 flights of steps. And if you saw me walk up the steps, it wasn't like you could run up and down. I'd forget something. Oh my gosh, you got to go up 4 flights. And I just made a commitment to do it. Now, it absolutely was the best, but I never thought of it. And that's kind of in our business, we have blind spots. We don't think of the blind spots because we just do the same thing. We're just accustomed to doing autopilot stuff. And that's what Daniel Priestley talks about. We have 3 types of brain: reptile, autopilot, and entrepreneurial. And so this book, man, it has all 3 in there. You've got to be able to master the reptile brain, which is safety, don't want to fail, protecting. There's a lot of different things. And I was going to do it. I have the 10 things right up on my wall because another concept is teach what you learn. So what I try to do, learn it, then teach it. Learn it, then teach it. Because if you're a consumption of content, like watching 4 hours of TV a day, that's what the average American does. 4 hours, 4 hours. What if you took 2 hours of that and you worked on yourself? You got books. You started reading. You started listening to podcasts. And you started putting good stuff in this brain, and your mindset starts to change. And you go to creating content like we're doing right now. And you're putting content out there like Daniel Priestley says. People got to consume 7 hours of you. And if they make 11 buying signals and see you on 4 different platforms, the brain clicks, know, like, and trust, and they're more likely to do business with you. So if you want to do more business in 2025, start changing the way you approach things. Let me give you this because I want to give you my, oh, shoot, doggone it. Let me give you, okay, hold on here. I think, yeah, here we go. Okay, so let me go right here. Okay, this is my mentor map to 10x your growth and scaling. On the top there, because of just his business systems, his business mindset. Brendan Bouchard's probably been more influential in my life, but Daniel Priestley's come into my life in probably the last, I want to say 8 to 9 months. So, but I have all 4 of his books. I have all 4 of them on audio. I've listened to no less than, this is crazy. I listen to him every chance I get. I probably listen to 150 of his podcasts, maybe 250, maybe 300. I don't even know. But I know his stuff as good as anybody. And when you look, I'm going to give you the 10 challenges to spark your entrepreneurial challenge. And this is what this is. It's a revolution going on. And I want you to be part of it because if you put yourself in the mindset of an entrepreneur and realize that we're coming out of an industrial revolution, which an industrial revolution was sitting in a factory and doing the same thing over and over again, sitting in a classroom doing the same thing over and over again. If everything is changing, the whole way we learn, the whole way we grow, legacy media taking a nosedive, thank goodness. And even when I've noticed, because I talk to people every single day, up to 10, I make phone calls. I talk to people. Now, I don't talk to everybody. I leave voicemail messages, but I attempt to, because talking to people, one, emotionally connects you with people, and it gives you an idea what people are thinking. The text has no emotion. So talk to your people. Talk to your people. Think in the morning. So when you look at my point, okay, I'm trying to think. My point here with Daniel Priestley is he's fairly new for me, but I dove deep into his philosophy of assessments, of waiting lists, of 7-11-4, 7 hours of content, 11 buying signals, 4 platforms. I do. He has the challenge. I don't know which page it's on. It's one of the chapters. Make 3 calls. So make 3 calls. Be uncomfortable. Try to put some deals together. Make calls. You don't know if you don't ask, but make 3 calls. He tells when he was trying to get his promotional business up, called a radio station, and was asking, and turns out radio station sponsored it. Radio station gave him an idea to get some gifts from local retailers to provide. It was just because he made the phone calls. His dad said, call, talk to people, ask. If you don't have your pitch down, there is a person, and I won't mention her name. She was wondering, she was saying something about her messaging. I introduced her to a person at a kind of an event. And when I introduced, I watched her pitch, listened to her pitch and watched it. Oh my gosh. 5 minutes later, still throwing all kinds of stuff out there. You got to do it in 30 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. People don't have time to listen to 5 minutes of you throwing up on them. That's why people tune you out. You got to get your pitch down. He has a whole philosophy on that called the hook. The ones I used to use is state your problem. Do you know how people realize how easy it is to get in business as an entrepreneur? And they go, well, no, yeah, kind of, yeah. Well, what I do is I help people with their mindset, craft their goals, and create habits that create an outcome of 10x growth. Now, when somebody hears that, you state the problem, then you wrap your solution in it. That's the way I've always done it. So, but I'm going to be changing because he gave me another way of looking at it. And I don't have it down, so I can't tell you. But state your problem. Do you know how? Problem. Wait for people to say yes. Acknowledge it. When they acknowledge it, yes, I know that is a problem. What I do is, and then state your solution in 15 seconds. Now, if when you do that, people go, oh, that's great, and they don't ask you another question, you better keep working on it. If they say, tell me more, then you're getting somewhere. Your pitch is getting somewhere. Daniel Priestley, I never heard this before, but he said that the concept of being a salesman goes back to World War II, when it was boomtown in the U.S. and everybody was coming home from the war, and babies were, families were growing. The economy was skyrocketing, people buying homes. Everything was, it was the roaring 50s or 60s, whatever it was. And then you had car salesmen that weren't the most ethical people. And so, you hear the thing, yeah, I don't want to be a used car salesman. I don't want to, something like that. It's because that stigma, that stereotype got in people's brains. And you don't wake up like you're in sixth grade and they say, "What do you want to do, Johnny, when you grow up?" "Oh, I want to be a salesperson." You don't hear that. "I want to be a fireman, a doctor, a lawyer." They always say things that they admire. Sales is not perceived that way. But look, nothing moves until something's sold. If you're not a good salesperson, you're either starving or you're not successful. You got to learn how to sell, period. You got to learn to pitch your products. You got to do it in such a way that creates that curiosity so people will lean into you. What does Seth Godin say? He's in here. I'm going to bring this up here. Yeah, he's right there, Seth Godin. Yep. Seth, Dan Martell, Chris Dew, Dan Sullivan, and Jeff Bourgeois, who's my partner. He's an AI specialist. So, but anyway, getting back to Seth Godin is when you look at Seth, he has, what was my point? I don't know. My point is I have his book. Where is it? This is Strategy. My point is he talks about people leaning into you, permission marketing. He created email marketing. And you get a lot of spam out there, get a lot of spam texts. But if people don't give you permission to give them stuff, then you're spamming them. So when you're not creating a good pitch, you're throwing up or you're spamming them with your voice. And that will never get you anywhere. So say, do you know how they're going to say yes if you do it well? Lean into you, then give them your solution. What do you do? What do you solve? You got to be solving problems. If you don't, you're not going to be in business long. You got to solve the biggest problems for the biggest opportunity. I'm done by one. That's my motto. Done by one. Thank you, Brendan. Done by one. I get up early. So it's not like I get up at 9:00 and I'm finished by 9, but I get all my tough things done first. I get up at 2:30 because I work with my team in the Philippines, Team Trexa. So I get up to be able to prepare and to do things. And I've gotten into a habit of it, and that's just the way it's been. But it's quiet. I can think, I can write, I can meditate, I can journal. I can do all the kind of good things before most people even think about getting up. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're just rolling out of bed whenever, and you don't have a habit of getting up early, then, I know people are night owls. I'm not saying you got to be a morning person, but you almost have to be if you want to be successful, because if you don't, your evenings will be inconsistent. You got to be consistent with that. So if you go to bed whenever you go to bed and you get done, then you're not going to get into a rhythm. You're not going to get into a routine. So just think about that early morning. There's reasons why the people, when you talk, look at Elon Musk. I think it's been said he sleeps on the factory floor. He doesn't even have a house. He flies around. Crazy. But look at how successful he is. Do you know what he does? I heard it on a podcast, and this guy had reason to know that this was true. Is he has 3 companies plus Twitter or X. He goes around to each one of them once a week, and that particular day he solves that problem that week. So whatever the biggest problem is at Tesla, SpaceX, and the satellite, he solves the problem. Twitter, he solves the biggest problem, and then I guess he has the fifth day, he's down in Florida. That's solving the government problem. So he's had an extra day. So if you take his three companies plus Twitter or X, that's four. So people say, how does he have time to be down in Florida hanging out with Trump? Well, he's solving the biggest problems with the four companies he has. Then that leaves another company, another day. So now he's going to solve our government problem. And you better believe he's going to solve them. He's the richest guy in the world because he solves the biggest problems. So look at your business. Can you solve the biggest problems in your business today and make a habit of solving it every single day instead of reacting, answering people's emails and taking on other people's priorities? And all of a sudden you go through a day and you go, what did I do? Because you didn't plan your day out. You just reacted. Well, if you're just going to react to things, don't expect to be in business long. 80%, I don't know if it's true, 80% of businesses fail in the first year. What we want to do is flip the script. We want 80% to succeed. And you have to have the right mindset of 10x scaling, because you have to set up systems with that. And if you don't, you won't be around in year 2 or 3. Can some people get lucky? Yes. But if you don't have the right mindset, you don't create and write deadlines with your goals, and you don't know them and look at them every single day, and you don't create habits, because if you depend on willpower, it never works. We turn the first of the year. You go to the gym, it's going to be busy, and then come February, it'll be back to normal. The normal people that have created a habit. If on a whim you say, I'm going to get healthy this year, and you don't create the right mindset, you don't set goals, you don't have accountability, you don't hire a coach, high performance coach if you want to perform higher, and you don't subscribe to Growth Day so you can journal each day, feel each day, set goals each day, and set your week. And there's a whole system to that. If you're not going to do that, you're going to be like, this is too hard. Same with entrepreneurship. It ain't easy. Don't let anybody tell you. It's tough. Be the toughest thing you do. And if you want it, the rewards are there. If you don't, then don't do it. Don't do it. Why are you doing something if you're not going to do it with 100%, 110%, whatever? So, yeah, get your reptile brain. I'm going to give you the 10 just so you can buy the book, get the book. And I think, well, you buy the book. I was going to tell you where you could find it. I think it's chapter 5. So make 3 phone calls each day. Get your reptile brain a bank account separate. You want to put 10% in there because you want to know that you're making decisions knowing that your future is secure. Because once fear jumps in, if you don't, oh man, what if this goes south? You won't even realize it, but you're making decisions based on fear. And you gotta condition your brain to get away from entrepreneurial, away from autopilot, and into an entrepreneurial mindset. Next one, carry cash. Carry $1,000 with you. Why? Because there's a philosophy is if you have it, then you're empowered with a mindset. He said, like, the first time he did it, he was like, he felt like people were going to attack him because they knew he had money in his pocket. Who knows? I mean, that's what you think. But once you get used to it, hey, man, I could buy that if I wanted. No, I'm going to wait until I accomplish this. And that's what he started to do. And he started to get results because he had the money in his wallet. Now, make sure you hit the right part down. Okay, take someone out to lunch. Take someone out to lunch. I'm working, this is my 2025 goals. I have this and I'm going to be implementing it into my life. Take somebody out to lunch. Can I take you out to lunch next week? It's on me. I don't know you very well enough, but I'm sure there's plenty of good reasons we should talk. Isn't that good? I think I'm going to try and put the summary in the show notes. Okay, then tune out the news. Okay, I've noticed that, gosh, I think like August, September, people were like, oh my gosh, what if we got 4 more years of this crap? What are we going to do? So they kind of hesitated. They put their everything on hold. Then we got good news. We got rid of the kids, we got some adults in there, and now people went, okay, now everything's positive, except the, people that want to think that, I don't know, that's a different podcast, different day. Okay. Then Thanksgiving was there. Then Christmas. So people have been, probably for the last 6 months practically, have put their life on hold. As AI is kicking in, as the digital currencies kicking in, as the entrepreneurial revolution is happening, the digital revolution is happening, AI is kicking in like crazy. All these things are happening. Turn the chapter from 24 to 25. Now people, it's like the light bulb. Everybody's in a different mindset. And they should, because we've got a lot of positive things happening. If you were not paying attention, and what I say about the news is tune it out. Do you need to know everything that's going on? Can't control it. So don't put yourself into it. When you understand news, the negativity in news creates people's eyeballs. They got to see it. So understanding that that's the nature of it, nobody picks up the paper because it's positive. They picked up the paper because something tragic happened. So if you're constantly looking at the news, or you're so much into the political thing, what appointment got there and all that, who are they going to throw anybody in jail, all that kind of stuff, that you don't have any control of it. So why are you doing it? So just cut out the news and put it towards developing you. Read a book, listen to a podcast. You don't need to know every single thing when it comes to news. Now, unless you're in the news business. Okay. Keep an entrepreneurial journal. The best one that has come out, and I'm a journaling person now, the last couple of years, is the iPhone journal. I can speak what I learn. I can speak things, just like I'm reading here, The 10 Challenges to Spark Your Entrepreneurial Challenge by Daniel Priestley. That's in my journal app. So I can print it out. I can look at it. I can search. I can put Daniel Priestley in there. And everything I have, all his books that I've done summaries, what did I get out of it, comes up. It's the most phenomenal thing. I think it's better than the camera because you can use it more. I mean, the camera's great, and we always got a better camera. That's why we bought an iPhone. But now I think they have to start looking at what other things can they add value on. And if you look at Apple, they have they're the most valued company in the world. Do you know the revenue per employee? This is compliments of Daniel Priestley. $2 million per employee, highest in the world, highest in the industry of tech. And you look at some of the other ones, I have that in my journaling app. You can see why they're the most valuable company. I don't know how many trillion they're worth, but it's crazy. They have an ecosystem. And so you've been with me. A lot of people have dropped off, but you that have stayed, you get a gift. pkane.me/masterclass, or that's our ecosystem. Because when you look at that, Jeff Bourgeois right here, let me see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people I go intense with. I go deep. Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. Phenomenal story. He's got the best videos that I've seen out there. So instructional, so much geared towards giving back. But buying back your time gives you time to dive into these things. These are the 6 people I focus on. Now, I have others, but these are the main ones. I have every book of people on this list. I have Brendan's books, High Performance Habits. I have Manifest Mesto. I have all his books. I may be lacking one, I think. Seth Godin, This Is Strategy. I've got a whole lot of his books. And I wanted to bring up one thing. Okay. So if you're into marketing and you don't have every single thing Seth Godin has, you're not serious about it. I was on a call with a person, he's a marketing person, and the book came up or something. And I said, have you gotten his book? And he said, no, I haven't. And I said, why? He goes, well, I read his blogs every day. Okay, that's good. You can't invest $30 in his book. I have his book on audio, $15 there. I have his cards, playing cards to teach. I have his book, and I listen to his stuff all the time. So if you're not willing to spend $30 on getting his book, then you're not serious about succeeding. You have to invest in yourself. Get this right. So Seth Godin, phenomenal. Of all, I think this is his 21st book, maybe 22nd. Purple Cow. He's got so many of them, you can't even. So, I mean, he's got 1 million people reading his blog every day. 1 million. I mean, think of that. 1 million. Do you think he has some value to share? Yes. So if you're into strategy, you need to get all his stuff. Invest in yourself and get the best. So this is my list. And so journal, get the Apple Journal, and just Google Apple Journal tutorial. There's some good stuff out there. I've listened to, I've just to learn more about it, but I use it. I discovered it through a friend of mine, Lucas Mota. And when we were talking about Growth Day, and I was showing him how to use it. And when I got to the journaling feature, which Growth Day has a phenomenal journaling feature, it self-prompts you with questions. It's just, that in itself is worth the price of what you would pay. So anyway, so he says, well, I use it this way, journaling this way. And I said, oh, really? I've seen that, but I didn't know anything about it. So he showed me how to use it. That was back in September. I've journaled. Let me see if no, I can't. I'll show you. I mean, every day, 4, 5, 6 times during the day, I can search it. I can put audio in there. I can put pictures in there. I can put my mood. I can put the location, who I met, the place I met them. I can recap my day, what lessons I learned from the previous day. I can put together my content strategy in there. It's phenomenal. And a lot of people don't even know it exists. Try it. Okay, next, plan inspiring holidays first. It's almost like pay yourself first, plan your holidays first. Because there's something to when he does, I think, 8 weeks of holidays, I believe something like that. So do enough where you're having fun. Because if you can't have fun, you work really hard. And if you can't because our motto, I kind of got it from him, be bold, make an impact, and have fun. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun. So put those major things in of what you're going to do for the year, vacations you're going to go on. So you can look forward to it. Your brain, hey, got that vacation in 4 weeks. I'm going to bust my butt. Because he said, like, he learns, and I remember this, I would get up early when we would go on vacation, and I'd be up before all the girls are up, and I would just be thinking, journaling, writing. And when you're by the ocean and you're just hearing that, it's just the creative juices just flow. So plan your holidays. Next, get a structured accountant and an IP lawyer. Don't wait to get an accountant till you make money. Set up your system right now. and get yourself an IP attorney so you can protect your services, your properties, your products. You got to protect them. If you don't protect them, then they won't be yours. And then the last, get your entrepreneurial team in place. Depending on your goals, if you want to be a builder, then you need a bigger team. If you want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur, that's, I think, 1 to 3 employees. So that, and then you got to focus on each employee, how much revenue you generate. So you look at it differently. Again, mindset. But get Daniel Priestley's book. Okay. And you got to know about AI. Oh my gosh, it's changing so quick. So number 9 in our ecosystem in our masterclass is my partner, Jeff Bourgeois. And if you don't, go on LinkedIn and Google him. He has Big Thinker Universe. He's a brilliant person. And he's done nothing but focus on how businesses can use AI. So he's got language models, Catalyst Crew. And so every aspect of your business can be leveraged with AI. So take his free course, get his free course, try it, learn it. I'll tell you one quick story. I was busy doing podcasts and he kept saying, Peter, you using AI? And I said, no, I'm too busy. Too busy. Just like my thing right here. I was on the busy bus. Finally kept asking and I finally, all of a sudden I put it on my phone. And then I needed to put a course together, mindset, goals, and habits. So I gave it the command, give me a 12-week course covering this, and make it reflecting this. 15 seconds, 10. I had the most amazing framework for a course. It would have taken me a year to do that because dyslexia, language and writing never was my friend. I've gotten a lot better, thanks to reprogramming and just really getting deep into learning and using the mind and just a number of different things that I've done. But my point is when I did, I saw the power of it. So play with it. I've asked, I don't know, every day I'm asking people, well, how are you using AI in your business? 99% of them, not. Does that tell you there's an opportunity? Yes. When ChatGPT came out, I don't know, a couple of years ago, a year and a half, something like that. Do you know 100 million people use it? 100 million people are leveraging it now. And if you're not using it, you're going to be left behind. So don't get left behind. Educate yourself. Learn about it. Put it on your phone. Try it. Experience it. It's 80% of the heavy lifting. You still do the 20%. But if you can have somebody to do 80% of your stuff, repetitive stuff, and just like creating a course, then you can focus on bigger problems. And that's where the opportunity lies. Solve bigger problems in your business, you can get better. So build your team. Okay. So that's the 3 people. All right. Brendan Bouchard. Daniel Priestley. Let me go back. Let me give you a little bit here. Let me see. There we go. So Daniel Priestley, get his books. Author of 24 Assets was the other one. Brendan Bouchard, get Growth Day. Get Growth Day. Start learning. It's the personal development. It's the Netflix of personal development. It is absolutely the best. And let me see if I can give you, okay, there's Growth Day. Get that. And if you email us and tell you got it, support@pkane.me, I'll send you my course, Mindset, Goals, and Habits. Okay, and so let me think. Growth Day there. We have our magazine, which this is my partner, Jeff, and I do this together. We're going to do 100 magazines next year. Minimum. It's communities. You can get it on Amazon. Right now it's Kennesaw Happenings, but there'll be every single city out there, plus many in each city. So This is incredible, but get one. Just get one and see, because opportunity, $15 could change your life. So sign up if you want to be a part of that. That's another thing that we're trying to add value. But here we go. Master class, the last one. I'm winding it down. Yes, master class. PeteKane.me/masterclass. Free. Yours gift. Thank you, Daniel Priestley. He gave me the idea. We just always getting ideas out there, but you got to apply them. It would be one thing to read it and say, I'm going to do it someday. Doesn't work that way. If you really want to make a difference, you have to implement things, and you have to have goals. You have to have deadlines. You have to have the right mindset. You have to hire a coach. Okay. Take an assessment. Take Daniel Priestley's assessment. You can go to ours, PeteKane.me. Take the assessment. I got to know where you're going. I got to know what your goals, dreams, and desires are. If I don't, how can I help you? You got to know them too. So let us know, PeteKane.me. So I hope this has been helpful for you. We even have Podcast Academy. There it is, PeteKane.me/PA, Podcast Academy. I want to thank you. So if this is something that you feel is of value and you're wanting to grow in 2025, because we have 3 avatars: entrepreneurs that want to grow and scale their business by 10x, nonprofits that want to grow and scale their nonprofit for greater impact. That's Glenda Hicks. She's the best. And she teaches nonprofits to impact the communities and has a board game that's phenomenal that'll help you learn as you grow. And then the last one is corporate professionals. So this one's going to be big, because AI is going to disrupt everything. And so if you're not valuable enough, you're going to be on the outside looking in. But the world of entrepreneurship is freedom. It's hard, very hard. Hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. There's no guaranteed paychecks. Hey, you don't get a paycheck on Friday if you're an entrepreneur unless you create value. So either one of those, when you go to PeteKane.me, let me see, back here, you got to pick which one. Which one of the 3 are you, then pick it. And then we'll help you. We'll help you in the most phenomenal way, because 2025 is the best year to be in business. Best year ever. There's going to be generational wealth created this first half of the year, because if you act now and you don't wait, and you're going to be thanking yourself over and over and over and over again. Do your homework. Do your homework. Like I used to say with voting, I don't care who you vote for. I mean, I do have my own philosophy, but I want you to vote. Exercise your right to vote. Have an open mind. Research everything you want, and then make your decision. In an entrepreneur world, get the best. Get people like Daniel Priestley. Get his book, Entrepreneurial Revolution. I mean, I think, I don't know. I got my book. It's, $20. $20 to get all these strategies. $20. One thing this is a point I got to make. So this is StreamYard, which is a streaming podcasting system. They were bought by a company, and I don't know how I get it, but sometimes I get the chat. All of a sudden it pops up. One chat goes, "Man, they're changing everything. I don't get as much free stuff as before." Really? You're complaining? You're complaining about free? You got to invest. Don't complain. You get it for free. I actually got mad because I see that. Everybody wants something for free. Look, you got to work for stuff. You got to pay for it. Free is to try it, and if you like it, you spend the money. Do you think they can hire engineers and employees on free? No, you can't go to Publix and say, "Hey, look, I did some good deeds for some people. Can I get my groceries free?" They say, "Nope." It's called cash. Bring the cash, you get the groceries. Bring the crypto, you get the groceries. You won't have inflation. You know, the dollar goes down 17% a year. That's what the numbers are coming out. So if you bury your cash in your mail, not mailbox, your mattress, you're going to be losing every single year. That's why cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is going to change the world, because you can't manipulate the currency. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for being with me. Anybody listen to the end? Thank you. Just send me a note. Send me a note at support@petekane.me, and I'll have some kind of gift for you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun.